Okay. So the pass is what to indicate that this block is empty. There is nothing to do here. Okay. This is totally empty. There's nothing to do here because if I don't say pass, right? So since we have given colon, right, it expects that next line will be something within if. So if you
Yeah.
have something to write about, you can write it. Okay, then you don't have to give pass. Okay, but when you don't have anything to write, you will say pass. That okay, it could mean that I don't have anything to write, or I don't have anything to write as of now. Now, see, when you build multiple complex logic, you can't be writing all the logic at the same time. So you'll say, okay, let me first create this if else block, okay, and then let me focus on one logic first, one logic at a time. So you'll say, okay, let me focus on one logic at a time. Okay, so you'll put pass here. You get this logic done because see, if I don't put pass, it's going to give me error.
Yeah.
It's going to give me error, indentation error, because it is expecting something here. So when you expect something and you don't have anything to give, then you say pass.
Okay.
Okay. So that's where it is used. So if you have any block for that matter, okay, any block, if block, for loop block, while loop block, any block, okay, you expect, Python expect that there should be some block here, but you don't have anything to pass. That's when you'll put pass, and then, at least the program will not be wrong, or it
Okay.
will not give you error. So this is how pass is used. Okay. Now talking about while loop. Now, while loop is used first, we look at the use, okay? When do we use it? When we don't know how many times your loop will run. So for example, okay, I want to, okay, I give a number, okay? So I give a number equal to, let's say, 30, okay? And you have to guess the number. I'm saying, guess input. Input is to get the value from the user. I'm saying guess the number. Okay. So I'm saying
Okay.
guess the number, and now I'm going to give, say, int, because I want it to be integer value. So I'll say
Yeah.
guess the number. Okay. Now, if the number is equal to guess, then you say print, you have correctly guessed the number,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Else, you have incorrectly, let's say, incorrectly guessed the number. Okay. So simple if else. Okay. Only if and else you have here.
Yeah.
Now, when I run it, okay, so, it's saying guess the number, right? Now, when you say guess the number, what happens? Obviously, it is expecting you to enter a value,
Oh, yeah.
right? So I'm going to say 35. So it says you have incorrectly guessed the number. Okay. Now, let's say I want to repeat this game till user is able to guess it right.
Okay.
Okay. So
Yeah.
this is every time you have to guess it, right? So every time you have to run, and let's say if I guess it correctly, it'll say correct. Okay. But I want to run this till user gets it right. Okay. If it is incorrect, you again give a chance. You again give a chance. Again give a chance. Okay. So you have incorrectly guessed the number. Try again. They're saying try again. Now this entire thing has to be repeated again, right?
Yeah.
So what I will do, I will say while true. While true means it will go on forever. And
Yeah.
everything else I'll move inside while. Okay. So now when I run it, okay, it's saying guess the number. So I'll say 65. It says you have incorrectly guessed the number, try again. I'll say 25. Okay. It'll say you have incorrectly guessed the number, try again. I'll say 30. Now, when I say 30, it says you have guessed the number correctly, correct?
Yeah.
After you have guessed the number correctly, it should stop.
Yeah.
After you have guessed the number correctly, it should stop. Right?
Yeah.
Now, if I have said while true, because see, I don't know how many times. User can guess it in one attempt or it can take 20 attempts to guess. So I cannot use for loop here.
Yeah.
Right? I cannot
Yeah.
use for loop here because I don't know how many times or user can take. Can attempt first time or maybe 30 times, 40 times also you can take to guess. Right? So I have to use while.
Yeah.
But when you guess it correctly, it should stop there. Once you guess it, it should stop, isn't it? It should not
Yeah.
continue any further. That's where you will say break. Break will throw you out of the loop. Loop will stop. Doesn't matter whether you have to run it again. Like as per the condition, you start to run forever. Right? But you have reached your destination. You don't have to go again. So you'll say break. Okay. So if I stop this and run it again, guess the number 45, 65, 25, 15, 20. Now if I say 30, you see, it said you correctly guessed the number and it stopped.
Okay.
That's the use of the break.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. Now
Yeah.
what continue does? So let's say you have guessed the number and I'm saying the number is between 0 and 100. I'm saying number is between 0 and 100. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, guess, okay, instead of 0, let's make it 1, right? Doesn't look 0, good. Okay, so I'm going to say, guess the number, and the number is between 1 and 100. You have to guess a number which is between 1 and 100. Now, if the user enters, okay, if the user enters less than 1 or greater than 100, so if I say if guess is less than 1 or guess is greater than 100 or, right? So I'll say continue. So continue will take you to the beginning of the loop. Doesn't matter, okay, what is, afterwards. So if you have entered a value which is less than 1, see, what did I say? I said value should be more than 1 and 100. Now you gave me 0. You gave me -1. You gave me, whatever. That whatever is not what I want. So why should I even go ahead and compare? I will not even compare. What I'll say invalid guess. Guess, try again. Now you have, see, technically speaking, okay, if I had not given this, for example, let's say, okay, I run it. So I'm saying guess 1 to 100, I give 200. So it says you have incorrectly guessed. I give -7. It says incorrectly guessed, right? But this is not how I want it to be. I want that if you guess it incorrectly, okay, it should give us invalid guess. It should not even go and look for other step.
Yeah.
So continue will take you to the beginning of the loop. The moment you hit continue, you will go to the beginning. So now when I say, okay, if I say here 45, it will give me incorrect because 45 is not equal to guess, right? But here if I say -45, that's where it should say invalid guess, try again. So the moment you hit continue, Okay, you are not going to go further down.
Okay.
You are not going to go further down. Okay, you stop there.
Right.
Okay, so this is how continue works. Continue will not stop the loop. It will take you to the beginning of the loop. It will take you to the beginning of the loop.
Yeah.
Okay, but break will break it. Break will say enough, no more loop now.
Yeah. So we use two ifs, right?
You can use many if. So yeah, what's your question?
I don't know. I was thinking if you were supposed to use an elif because
You can
the
use two if. No, I told you two if is like checking two different condition.
yeah.
So you can club it as elif. You can create as two different if. It's up to you. See what is okay. What is right? Okay. What
Mm-hmm.
will be best scenario?
Yeah.
What will be the best scenario? In this case, I think, okay, using two loop is best scenario. You can always have one. Okay, you can always have one. I can say elif, then I can say elif here. I
Mm-hmm.
can do that. Okay, okay. But, you can have two if. There's nothing wrong with two if, three ifs, 10 ifs.
Okay.
It all depends upon the logic that you are building.
Okay.
Okay. If I'm comparing one loop number, another loop I'm comparing times, okay, then you obviously need to have two different loop.
Okay. Okay. This is just a condition, so we can use as if as you want. As
Condition,
well.
right? You need to check for the condition. Yes.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Any other question?
Can we go over one example of the end thing in the for loop where we use end is equals to quotations?
End equal to. End is equal. End, you don't have to use loop. End means that at the end, you don't want new line. Okay. So your
Okay.
end will always have new line. So you don't want new line. Instead, you want something else. Okay. So let's
Okay.
say I go to this program. I say print hello. And I say print how are you? Okay. So
Mm.
now when I run it, okay, run P1, right? So it printed hello and how are you in two different lines. Why two different lines? Because your print has new line at the end. And let's say you don't want to have new line at the end. Okay.
Okay.
You don't
Yeah.
want new line at the end. That's where I will go and I'll say, okay, after hello, I don't want new line. I will say end equal to, okay, maybe space
Mm-hmm.
or maybe dot and space. So now when you run it, okay, so let me do it with and without. So here I said, hello, how are you in two different lines because print will always print in starting line. Okay, it has new line at the end. It has new line at the end. Okay,
Okay.
so I started in the beginning and I finished it. Now I do not want um this how are you and hello into different line. I want them to be in same line. Okay. So I'm going to say here and equal to. And equal to means remove that new line which is at the end. Instead, replace new line with dot space. Dot and space got printed here.
Okay. So we're editing the end thing that's already there.
Yes.
Okay.
New line. Basically, new line you are removing.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. What else?
That's it today.
Okay. So we'll go back to the same program and let's try to talk about something new.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about, okay, so before, I was talking about how to get a random number, okay?
Yeah.
So, okay, so now see here, it says that you have got incorrect value, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let's say I also want to add, if, if the value is lower or higher.
Okay.
So you have, let's say, you number is 30, right? And you guess, let's say 45. Now,
Mm-hmm.
so it says incorrect, which is good. But now after knowing it is incorrect, I need to guess another number, right? Now, to guess another number, should I be guessing more than 45 or less than 45?
Less than
Right?
40.
So how
Yeah.
do you know it is less than 45?
Because we have the number value.
Yeah, so yeah, manually you're checking, right? You see and you check. But if you don't, if you're running the program, okay, we need to tell, our program should tell us that, you guess number lower,
Okay.
right? Our program should tell us, isn't it?
Yeah. So we're supposed to add another if condition?
Yes. Okay. We'll add another if condition. Okay. So here, okay, I will say elif. Let's have else here. And here I'm going to say if
Guess.
number
Yeah.
less than guess. If number is less than guess, that means you have guessed it. You have guessed a higher number,
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
right?
Guessed a higher number. Right.
Right? That means I have to guess a lower number now, right?
Yeah.
And here I will also put it guessed a, you have right? So now when you run it, okay, it's pointing to different file, P2. I need to run P2 now. Guess the number? Guess the number, I say 56. So you have guessed a higher number. So I know now that I need to guess a lower number. Let's say I get 200. 200 is invalid, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I need to guess a even lower number, right? So I'll say 25. See, it says you have guessed a lower number. That means now I have to guess a higher number, right? So I'll
Yeah.
say here 30 and correctly guessed it.
Okay.
Okay. Now I also add how many times you took to guess the number, right? So
Okay.
before while I will put count equal to 0. And
Okay.
every time you are guessing, so you'll say count plus equal to 1. That's the number of times that you're taking, correct?
Yeah.
So after every time you are saying inputs, that means you are guessing a number. And here I'll say you have correctly guessed the number in so many attempts.
Okay.
So I'll put a format F and then here I'll say count. So now when I run it, guess the number, I'll say 300. So one time done. Okay. 56, 2 times. 20, 3 times. 30, 4 times. So see, it says you have guessed the number in 4 attempts.
Okay.
Isn't it?
Yes.
So you have guessed the number in 4 attempts. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I want this to be totally okay. I'm saying 30. So that means when you're playing, you know that you have 30, number 30. So you can, mentally, it's 30. So you can play it in your own way, right? If you want to get it right in 4 attempts, you make first 3 attempts wrong, and then 4th attempt, you say 30 and you get it right. But let's say we make it totally random. Okay, so every time you run the program, you don't know what's the value.
Okay.
So for that purpose, we have something called as random. Okay, so random, okay, is a function, okay, which will generate random numbers. But this function is not directly available. This function is available in a module called random. So what is a module? Module is a file which has multiple functions. So let's say if I have written some functions and I want you to use those functions, right? In Office, that's what we'll do, right? Colleagues, you'll have to work together. So you will write some function which other colleagues will use. Other colleagues will write some function which you will use. So let's say I have written some function and I want you to use those functions. Okay, I want you to use those functions. So what I'll do, I'll put them all in one file. And in this case, that file name is called random. So import random. So when I'm saying import random, I'm saying import this module. That means import this file, which has all the functions related to random.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Now here it has random, and random has multiple, see, it's a file, right? So file will have multiple functions. So
Yeah.
you have random functions, but random function will generate random value between 0 and 1.
Okay.
Random function generates values between 0 and 1.
0 and 1.
Yes. So it's like
0
point.
or
This
1 or 0 and 1?
0
Decimals.
and 1. All decimal values. 0, 0.5, 0.6, that kind of values. You have something called as random int. Random int generates integer value between the number that you give. So if I say random int, I'm saying give me a random integer number. 1, 100 means between 1 and 100.
Okay.
So it's going to give me a random number between 1 and 100. Okay.
Okay.
So it's going to give me random number between
If
1
we
and
put
100.
only random, then it's between 0 and 1 without
Correct.
giving the value.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Correct. And random int, we'll talk about it later also, where we'll look at other functions as well. For now, I'm going to use only random int. A random int is generating random number between 1 and 100. Now,
Oh.
when you run it, now you don't know which number the Python has guessed. Okay. So every time you run it, you'll get a new number.
Yeah.
That randomly number. Now, if I say 30 here, you see, so it says you have guessed a lower number. So actual number is more than 30. I'll say 70.
Yeah.
It says you have guessed a higher number. So it is between 30 and 70. I'll say 50. So I have guessed a lower number. So it is between 50 and 70, excluding 50 is also not there, 70 is also not there. Between 50 and 70. I'll say 60. 60 is also lower. So I'll say
Okay.
65. 65 is also lower. So it could be 66, 67, 68, 69.
Yeah.
Right? 66, 67, 68, 69. I'll put 68 and see what happens. 68 was the number. So it took us 6 attempts to guess the value.
Okay.
Okay. So every time you run it, it will give you random number
different
between 1 and 100.
Okay.
Okay. That's what random int does.
So that import random is this is not a variable, right? It's a file. The random.
Yes. Import random.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a file. Yes. And which has a lot of functions in it.
Okay.
Which has a lot of functions in it. So with this, we complete our loops topic also.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll start with new topic called strings. Any questions so far here?
Nope.
Awesome.
Question.
So we'll start, new topic, which is called as strings. So we
Okay.
have seen integer float, okay, with conditions and loops. We have used mostly numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have used mostly numbers. Now we are going to use, okay, next topic, okay, which is called string. String is all about text data, right? Strings all about text data. So I can declare a variable called var1 equal to hello. So what did we say? We said that strings should be declared in quotation, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
string is declared in quotation. Which quotation to use? So you can
Double.
use double quotation. You can use single also.
Okay.
There is no difference between them.
Okay.
Okay, so single and double, absolutely no difference. You can use single quotation in place of double, the double in place of single. There is no difference between them. You can also create triple quotation.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So whether, if I say print var1, comma, var2, comma, var3, comma, var4, or I say print type of var1, comma,
Yeah.
okay. Now when I run it, okay, it's still pointing to the other one. So I'll stop it and I will run P1 now. So see, hello, how are you? I'm fine, I'm here. Okay, because I said comma, 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 right? So it printed after hello, how are you? All of these are string. Okay.
Yeah.
So I said there is no difference between single quote and double quote. There is no difference between triple quotes. Single or
Oh.
double, triple quotes, no difference. Single and double quote, no difference. But there is difference between triple quote and other quotes. There's a difference between triple quote and other quotes. What is the difference between them? So triple quotes can have multi-line of text. So I can say I am fine, okay, or here let me use it better. I can say I am fine, I am doing well, I am all right. You can put multi-line text, okay, without putting any other thing.
Oh, just
These
like
are all,
adding the comment.
yes, these are all single line text.
Yeah.
These are multi-line text. I am here, I am there, I am everywhere. Okay, so now when I print your var3 or when I print var4, it will print as it is. See, I'm fine, I'm doing well, I'm all right. I'm here, I'm there, I'm everywhere. So triple quote, so single and double quote is used to contain only single line. Okay, but your triple quote will have multi-line.
Okay.
Okay, it will have multi-line. That's the difference between single quote and triple quote.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. This is about string. Now, if I need to know how many characters are there in the string,
Yeah.
how many characters are there? So we have a function called as len.
Yes.
Okay, so I can say print len of hello. So how many characters are there in hello? 5
5.
characters. So when you run it, it gives you 5. You can
Oh,
always say v1 equal to hello. And now you can say print len of v1.
okay.
You get 5 here.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. So we'll